かないで。それは私の愛の粒なの。私の心。このままじゃダメ。ダメになる。
Oh, this is gonna be fucked! Hello and welcome again to Oldtaku New Tricks, where today we're going to be talking about an anime that is probably the most nihilistic, most people equal shit anime I've seen since probably Master of Martial Arts. Now, I know what Happy Sugar Life looks like, but trust me, this is not a show for the faint of heart. Don't be taken in by the aesthetics or character design or even the name of the damn show, as it's purposefully saccharine and ironic. But even after saying that, I feel that this is in familiar territory for those who've been around the block a few times. Hello, Elfin Lead, and hello, Higurashi. Probably going to be seeing you on Anime Abandoned pretty soon. Yeah, Higurashi met my 10-year cutoff date back in 2016. There's a reason why I called this show Oldtaku New Tricks. But right now, I'm at a quandary about how I should progress from here, because I don't want to spoil anything, but even talking about the premise is a spoiler in of itself. Yeah, it's one of those kinds of shows, where the conceit of the story is completely twisted and knowing thing one about it beforehand irrevocably kneecaps the viewing experience. Not that the savvy couldn't put two and two together about what kind of show to expect with my comparisons to Higurashi, but all the same, I do feel like if I went into specifics, I would be doing the show a disservice. So I guess the spoiler warning is in full effect, even though I won't be talking about the plot directly. You have been warned. I am literally recording this just a few hours after watching the last episode of the season, which premiered on Friday, September 28th on Amazon Prime, as you can tell by the ugly closed captions below in the footage. And thinking back on the story at large and everything I just experienced, I'm struggling with myself and how I feel about it. Because it's not a bad show. In fact, there's quite a lot of good in it. But saying that feels wrong. Or at the very least, it feels like there should be an asterisk next to that. Much like a lot of nihilistic anime, the show pretty much staffs itself with unlikable, borderline unforgivable characters in its cast. But unlike most of these said anime, Happy Sugar Life does well in keeping said characters well within the boundaries of intent. The framing never veers into the territory of trying to get the audience to sympathize with these characters, but rather the show seems to want the audience to understand their motivations, which run the gamut of abuse in its many horrible shades. If there is one main theme throughout the entire series, it's the cycle of abuse, about how the history of violence is passed on through the generations.
ぐるぐる寂しくて動けなくなる。息ができなくなる。これが家族。
These acts of, frankly speaking, evil doesn't stop after the initial incident. It's continued as victims seek to victimize others, a single drop of black ink spreading ceaselessly through the glass of water.
お母さんは何人もいるみたいだった。怖い人、悲しい人、優しい人。大丈夫。
This is where the show is at its strongest. It does a commendable job of portraying the history of these characters, and most importantly, correlating it to what they're doing in the present. Our protagonists, Sato and Shio, are at the center of the maelstrom, a storm of mostly Sato's doing. The two girls are nigh inseparable, both having traumatic histories and each providing comfort and love to each other. Now, the fact that one of them is a high school student and the other one is barely out of kindergarten should tell you exactly the kind of mental state that the both of them are in.
しおちゃんとの時間が減ってしまうけど、全部我慢してきたのに。は？何のこと？だから店長も我慢してくれればよかったんです。そしたらお互いこんな不快な思いはしなくてよかったのに。
Again, to the show's credit, the framing of Sato and Shio's relationship is always squarely on this is not alright and holy god this will not end well. Scenes of the two of them going about their apartment and playing pretend to marry each other may be met with cutesy music and cliched sparkle backgrounds.
今日誓いの言葉やってない。しょうがないか。しおちゃん寝ちゃってたもんね。
But underneath all of that, the viewer can't shake the notion that this is 12 kinds of wrong, and the show will not let you forget it. Likewise, the scenes of the other ancillary characters perpetuating the abuse they've experienced only reinforces the central thesis of the show. Though I must say that the inevitable karmic punishment for one of these characters feels completely wrong-headed. I'm not going to go into much else on it, but I will say that the moral repercussions of a victim acting on their twisted sense of right and wrong should not be more of what made them a victim in the first place. And that leads me to why I feel like there needs to be an asterisk next to the word good. There's the minutiae of nitpicks. How did X character find Y character? How did no one see Z character do something illegal in public, etc.? But really the heart of the matter lies in the content itself. As a show about abuse and the havoc it wreaks on everyone around it, it would be unrealistic to expect an easy watch. But having said that, and while the show succeeds at framing the despicable acts on screen for what they are, there are still times when the show approaches and crosses into incredibly tough to watch territory. You kind of have to be in a mood to want to begin the series, let alone watch the entire season. But, watch it I did, and I'll never watch it again. Yeah, it's one of those kinds of anime. Moreover, while I am slow to give recommendation, I do feel that I need to shine a light on a particular aspect of the show. Happy Sugar Life has done something that no anime has done in a long time. I could not, for the life of me, see where any of this was going. Yeah, a high school girl who falls head over heels in love with a little girl. Can't say I've heard that one before. Oh, sure, it goes without saying that such a premise can only realistically end in one way, but holy crap, I was just shucking and jiving with every story turn. It's pretty much what Trey Parker and Matt Stone have said about storytelling, about how the beats of stories should be connected by therefore and buts, and not and thens.
We'll have our beats and we'll say, okay, this happened, but then this happens, and that affects this, and that does to that, and that's why you get a show that feels like, okay, this to that, to this to that, but this, here's the complication, to that.
I feel that if Happy Sugar Life were structured in a more conventional, read, less inspired manner, then I would be way harsher on it than I am, relegating it to just being another anime where all the characters are broken pieces of shit that are horrible to each other because reasons. However, because it was able to present itself in a manner that kept me guessing and engaged, it managed to win me over. Funny how a well-structured plot can do that. Once again, this is not for everyone, but for what it's worth, I will not soon forget Happy Sugar Life. And the fact that it kept me guessing up until the end, I'll always appreciate that. But that's just my 2 cents on the anime. What did you guys think of Happy Sugar Life?